Okay, we want to talk about work structures. So hopefully you've downloaded this part file from engineeringu.com, and we're going to just play with this and as we learn how to draw different work structures. The work structures you find up here, right here, work features. There's plane, which is what we really use the most. And there's axis and there's point. And these are just things so that I could put on there and then I could add geometry onto it or draw a sketch on. Before I make any kind of part, I have to draw a sketch. To draw a sketch, I have to have a drawing pad, if you will, a work plane to actually draw things on. You'll know that when we first made this particular part, you had to select a work plane to draw it on. And that's important maybe to look at right away. Over here in the origin folder, there are axes. There's an x-axis, a y-axis, a z-axis. There's your center point. And then there's planes too. And so if you ever want to make a plane off of one of these planes are available to you to build off of. You just can't see them most of the time unless you hover over them. But if you want to see them, you could like right-click on YZ plane and click visibility, and that plane will be in there for you to do some things with. I'll go ahead and make sure it's off right now, but they are there, and you can use those. Generally, we're going to add axes and points and planes from up here. So, like if I want to do a point, I could click the point, and I could come down here and find a point and click on it. And now I've put a work point there, and I can work off of that. I can draw lines and different things from that particular point. If I want to make an axis, that takes 2 points. So I could click axis, and I could maybe click that point, and then I'd have to select another point, and didn't do a good job there. Axis, I'd select that point and that point, and now I have a work axis there that I could do some things through. I could maybe build a work plane off of that or something like that. So that's work points and work axes. Generally, we're going to spend most of our time with learning how to do different things with planes. So if you come up here and you click on this like down arrow, you'll see all kinds of different planes and how to make them. And if you don't understand, you can just kind of hover over it and you'll get a nice drop down. It explains how to do different things. But we're going to basically just do kind of shortcuts from this. We'll activate the plane by coming up here and clicking on plane. But then we'll kind of come down here and click on stuff to do stuff. So one of the things we want to do most is called an offset plane. So maybe I don't want to draw right on this face of this part, but I want to draw on a plane that is like if I move this like this way, instead of drawing right here on this face here, I want to draw like out here on a face that's out here above it or something like this. So the way I can do that is I activate the plane, I click the plane, come down and select the plane that I want, and I just click and hold, and I can just drag out, and I can drag a plane out there however far I want, 0.8125 inches. Click the green arrow, and you'll notice then that I have a plane that is out here away from it, and I could then start a 2D sketch and select this plane and draw on that, and then extrude that back towards the other part or whatever I would need to do. So that's an offset plane. That we use that a lot. That's a fairly valuable one. Let's see. I'll undo that. I could. Let's see here. I could do a work plane through like a single edge, or a single work axis. I could have done a work axis and made a plane through it. But here's what I could do if I have a line. Basically, I could click plane. I could click an edge. I'm just going to click a single edge right here, and then I'm going to select a face. See if I select that face, it's trying to put on a plane that's 90 degrees to that. If I select this face, it's putting on a plane that's 90 degrees to that. That's kind of the default angle. I'm going to select this plane right here, and so what that does is that puts a plane through this edge at an angle to that face, and the default angle is 90 degrees. That's why it's right angle to this face. If I did 0 degrees, you'd see that it would be a plane that's right up and down along that face. Or I could do 45 degrees, and I'll have a the plane is always going through that edge that I selected first, but then it's 45 degrees away from that plane that I selected right there. I could also do a negative 45. If I did a negative 45, that'll be going the other way. so my plane will kind of cut through back that way. So that's pretty handy in some difficult drawings where you could do something like that. Let's do, I could do an angled plane through two edges. So if I activate the plane, come up here, maybe click that edge, come down here and click that edge, and now I got a plane that goes, attaches those two edges up. I could do through points. I only need two edges to get a plane, but for points I would need 3 points, right? 3 points to define a plane. So I could activate the plane. I could maybe click on that point, and maybe that point, and maybe this third point, and you'll see I have a plane that cuts through all those things, but all 3 of those points are in the plane. Okay, so that's another way you can make a plane. All right, let's do one that's a little trickier sometimes. Let's do I want a plane that is tangent to like this curve, this surface out here. So the way I need to do that is I activate the plane. I need to click the actual surface, the curved surface, and then I need to click some plane somewhere that I want the plane on this to be tangent. The plane is going to be tangent to this curve will be parallel to whatever plane I pick. So if you see, if I come up and I click that plane, then now it's going to put a tangent to the curve that's parallel to that. Or if I select, if I can get in there and select that one there, it's going to put one that's parallel to that. So I just select this one, and now I have a plane that is parallel or tangent to that curve right there. So you have to do that, you have to select the face that you want it to be tangent to, and then pick some face that you want it to be parallel to also. Okay, another way we could do this, we could make an axis through the center here. So I click the axis, and then I'm going to come here, I'm going to click this face, and you'll see that it's going to put an axis right through the center when I do that. And I don't know if you can see it or not, I'll move it around. See, now there's an axis through the center here. And I can use that axis to put attach a plane to. So I could activate the plane. I could click on the axis right there, and it's going to put a plane through there. Now it didn't yet. How come? Well, it wants me to select a surface that it's going to do the plane at an angle to. So if I do that, I'll select that surface. So you'll see that this plane is 90 degrees from that. So I could, I could say, let's go 45 degrees. So it's going to be going through the cylinder, but it's going to be 45 degrees to that particular vertical surface. Or I could do negative 45 degrees and kind of go over here and split between those two. So I can make a plane that way. Okay. Let's do kind of one more. Let's go back and do, let's do a plane, activate a plane. We'll go from this edge down to this edge. So I have a plane there. Now I'm going to offset a plane, so we're practicing some of the things. So I could click the plane again, click on this plane, highlight this plane. You got to make sure the plane's highlighted. I got it there. Get it, come out to the edge. There it is. Click and hold and drag out, and I could drag a plane out from that. We'll say that's good enough. Okay. So those are two that I've already done, and now we just practice again. But what I can do now is I can select any two planes and put a plane right in between them. So I can come up here, I can activate the plane. I'll select this plane, I'll select that plane, and you'll notice it put a plane right between them. And I can do that anywhere that I have two planes that are already parallel to each other. Like even on this part, I could go activate the plane. I could say let's select this one, and now let's turn over here to the other side, and let's select this side, and you'll notice that it put a plane right between this face and this face, right down the middle. So as long as I have two parallel faces, I can select them both, and I can put a mid plane between them. Okay. So, and of course, why we want to do this is because I can then start a 2D sketch. I could select any one of these planes I want to start drawing on. Okay, and I could do something tricky. I could draw here in the middle of this this plane here. I'll highlight that, and even though it looks like, well, I got this plane in front of me, don't I? Well, it doesn't matter. You're not drawing on that one. You're drawing on, I could come in here and draw a rectangle or a square or something. Okay, and I could finish sketch, and there it is. There's my square. It's on that middle plane in there. I could extrude and maybe go the other direction. Okay, and there's different things I could do. Cut, so it cuts it all the way through, or something. I could make a hole that went all the way through there. Okay, and do different things like that. So it's all about the planes. The planes are very important for you to be able to make a drawing on, and sometimes you need to make them at different angles and things like that. So hope that helps.